Hi there, and welcome to this video, which is all about what it's like to go traveling or holidaying as a highly sensitive and or neurodivergent person. So if you're brand new to me at my work, my name is Nicola. I'm a yoga teacher and yoga therapist, and I love talking, speaking, writing and teaching about all things to do with being highly sensitive, being neurodivergent, therapeutic yoga and how that can help, as well as seasonal self-care that really helps to nourish the sensitive person. So let's get into today's topic, which is about this idea of the potential challenge of going on holiday as a extra sensitive, possibly neurodivergent person. So I'll start by just sharing a little bit about a fairly recent camping trip. So in Easter, here in the UK, I went on a camping trip with my family. We were also meeting friends out there, another highly sensitive neurodivergent family, which is great because they also have children, so kids get on really well. But you did hear that right, I went camping. Now, some of you are going to be thinking, great, camping, nature, outdoors, brilliant. Others are going to be thinking, why on earth would you voluntarily go and sleep in a tent in a field? And I feel equally in both camps. Just for context, we are really fortunate. We have a lovely bell tent, which is made of canvas, for those of you that don't know. And we also have a little mini log burning stove that we take. So it kind of meets our needs a little bit better. There are lots of things about the way we camp that are specifically really to address sort of sensory issues that we all have. I'm particularly sensitive to drafts and damp and cold. It takes a lot for me to go. I have to take certain layers. My weighted blanket has to come along. So the way we camp is probably more on the glamping side of things than like hardcore in a little nylon tent and nothing else. So yeah, it's a lot. And because we have all of those extra things, it does make the whole packing and preparation and then the aftermath a lot of work, to be honest. But the children do enjoy it. I mean, I'm definitely still in this. Do I like camping? Do I not? I don't know. There were lots of good points about going camping this time around, but a lot of challenges as well. So I'm still on the fence. If you're on the fence or you have a very strong opinion about camping, feel free to pop it in the comments. It's a tough one, isn't it? The thing is about going on holiday, whether you're camping or not, and this is one of the real challenges I have. I really, really struggle. And if you are also neurodivergent and you have that monotropic mind, so monotropic is, where you tend to focus on small details, get really focused, much more than the bigger picture. I think planning and packing present a real challenge because it kind of requires you to be in that multitasking zone, and I'm just really not very good at it. I sometimes feel like I use up all my multitasking ability in my 10 years stint in education, and I really had to mask my downfall with that, I think. But planning and packing for any holiday can be really, really taxing if you are neurodivergent in particular and struggle with feelings of overwhelm when there's a lot to do. So yeah, particularly if you have that monotropic way of thinking, because I could easily, and this did happen and I can't remember exactly what it was about, but there was one element of camping that I thought, right, I know what it was. I decided that I was going to take some like an art pad, and I've got some paint pens, because I had this idea of, if there's a rainy day, we can collect some rocks on the beach and we can sit and paint rocks. And so I ended up going into a little teeny tiny, but maybe not quite so tiny, side quest on packing this little art box. But it's a really silly and small example, but it's that kind of example that makes packing and planning for going on holiday a real challenge, because you're having to think about everything. And I can easily get locked onto the importance of this particular section of things I need to pack. This might be true for you, I don't know. The other thing about going on holiday that I wanted to mention is the mixture of emotions about it. There may well be some anxiety about going away or apprehension, particularly if you're traveling, really far away, maybe to a foreign country where really radically different to what you're used to. Food is quite an anxious thing for me because I have quite a sensitive tummy, digestive system, as do a couple of members of my family. So food can be a bit of an anxiety thing. But there also might be this sense of, excitement for the freedom or the idea of freedom coming your way. So there can be a mixture of feelings. So there's some of the things that I find particularly challenging about traveling or going on holiday. If you're going on, a plane or any kind of public transport, that brings a whole host of other challenges, which I won't go into here, but also can be challenging. The people, the sensory stimulation, the queues, and all the rest of it. So it can be quite tricky, and it's a real shame that we have so many challenges, but I do think that we can kind of find our way through, carve out a little path that means we can enjoy as much of our holiday as possible, rather than just coming back and thinking, what on earth did I do that for? Which I have in the past experienced that. So really, I'm nearly 40 years into this journey now. I feel like I've cottoned on that there are some key things that I could do to make it more successful. So I was going to share these here. The first one that I wanted to share, and I think this is really important because for a long time I wouldn't allow this to happen, but just like making life really easy choices. Don't overthink it. Get all the snacks that you need, put them in your bag, buy those comforting things, bring along your weighted blanket if you can. I mean, obviously it's not always appropriate. Bring your earplugs, get your hand wipes, bring your fiddle toys, your eye mask, all the things that make things easier. If you have got access to the money that would allow you to skip the queues, don't question it. I remember when we were planning a trip somewhere and we were thinking about, do we want to do like the scenic route, or do we want to explore this, or do we just want to take an easier route to the place? And there are pros and cons to both sides, but sometimes taking into account the whole trip, it's worth just taking the easier route. And on that occasion, I did say to my husband, I think we just need to go straight there on this occasion. Let's not try and make the most of everything. Let's focus on the bits of the holiday that we really, really want to enjoy, the priority, and make the bits in between really easy. My husband has a habit of really wanting to make the absolute most and stretch the amount you can fit in. And that's where we have to have a real conversation, because sometimes you're adding in something which is just going to steal away from another part of the holiday. So the other thing with regards to preparation for the holiday is planning extra time. You're going to need extra time. And I talked a little bit about this in the self-care video for this month, but just allow yourself extra time for planning and packing. I think there is a Goldilocks spot with regards to how much time, because you don't want so much time that you're just constantly preparing for this holiday for weeks in advance. But you might set aside, I have sometimes unrealistic expectations of how quickly I can do something. I don't know if anyone else does that. I do it in all areas of my life. Like doing this video, for example, I'm pretty sure that I could have done it in 10 minutes out of my day, but it doesn't happen like that. So being realistic about how much time it might take you, and then adding maybe double, and giving yourself that time. I definitely have to do this. With the camping trip, I did do that, and I was really pleased that I did that, because I did get overwhelmed, so I needed that time in between and after, just to kind of decompress afterwards. So yeah, just extra time. The other thing which I have started to do kind of unconsciously really, but I'm bringing it to my conscious awareness now, is when you're going away, and we've got a trip planned, we're going up to Northumberland soon, is to think about the trip, and then maybe in all your many lists, and you don't have to write it down, it could be in your mind, but I always like to write it down, is to make an inventory of your needs and your wants for the trip. I think this is especially important if you are going with family, especially children, young children, or teens, or whatever, children, and who naturally can draw your awareness outwards. It's just to make an inventory of your needs and wants. And you might also do that with the rest of the family too, so that when you all go away, you can go, oh, okay, well, so-and-so is going to need some downtime after this particular activity. So-and-so really wants to experience this. And just making sure that you get your needs met, and everybody does. Because I think, especially for extra sensitive women in particular, I'm sure this happens for men in some ways as well, but definitely that kind of feminine archetype of overgiving and constantly thinking about the other is more prevalent for those that identify as women and mothers. That tendency to just be thinking about everybody else all the time is so ingrained, we really have to make an extra special effort to go, oh, okay, this is my holiday too. So yeah, just making a special point to think about what your needs are. So for example, one of my needs will be, particularly if we're however we're traveling, whether it be by car, plane, whatever, we're going to have a long drive up to Northumberland soon. And when we get there, once we're in the place, I need to have a walk around, etc., get everything out of the car, and then I'll need to lie down for 10 minutes with my eyes covered. That's just a need that I require. It's not very long, but I just need that. And usually, or not usually, but what will likely happen is I'll be doing that. The kids will be outside doing their own thing. So that can be really helpful. The other thing, and this is really important for anyone who gets anxious in equal measure to excitement before they go on a trip, is just to research the place before you go. And most of us we do that, don't we? The internet gives us easy access to understanding what a place is like. But it might be down to the fine detail of noting on a map where the eatery places are and getting hold of their menus so that you can maybe plan, maybe even calling ahead and saying, what specials have you got on the menu? Or I'm gluten-free, do you cater for that, etc. I am aware that a lot of this extra stuff, if you're highly sensitive and neurodivergent and you're going on holiday, means extra time, it's extra effort, 100% is. And, you might easily question what's the point of going in the first place, but it is what we need to do. And on balance, it makes things a lot easier, even if we have to go the extra mile, if you like, for ourselves. And then the final thing that I would suggest, and I'm so happy that we have organised this to be the case when we go away next, is to have at least a day or 2 or 3 or 4, as many as you can get, after you come back, so that you can decompress, that you can go at your own pace, that you've not got to go straight back into work or whatever. I think this is really important over the holidays because, it's quite busy, isn't it, over the holidays? There might be social things. In the past, when I was a lot younger and a little less wise, I would think, all right, we're going on holiday this week. Yeah, we can see my mum when we come back. We'll come back on the same day. We'll see them in the evening. It'll be fine. That was complete nuts. And that's okay if you feel you've got the capacity to do that, but I have not. It's just about knowing yourself and being realistic and giving yourself that time. And so when we come back, we have got a good 3 days, I think, before kind of normal life begins again. I won't plan anything in for those days unless it's like we're done, we're okay, let's maybe call up the grandparents and see if they're in. But generally speaking, I will probably just be unpacking, washing all the holiday gear, getting the house in order, resting, decompressing, and kind of coming back to centre. So they are my thoughts. How do you manage traveling as a sensitive person? Have you got any tips that you can share in the comments below? If you found this video useful, please give it a like. It really, really helps the channel get more exposure, and it helps put it in front of other people that may benefit as well. You might even want to share it with somebody that you feel needs some of these words today. And if you are interested in more information about being highly sensitive, neurodivergent, and how tools such as therapeutic yoga, seasonal self-care and yoga therapy can be of benefit, then head over to my website. You can sign up to the mailing list. I really try to only share things that are of value, and yeah, you can receive a little ebook from me as a gift. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I really hope you have a really very good holiday.